Blueberries are a beautiful landscape shrub. They reliably produce berries year after year and are one of the easiest fruits to get started with.
This planting guide is everything you need to know about getting the best variety, location, fertilizer, pH and soil type, plus when and how to plant them. Hi guys, I'm April from Resprout. Like and subscribe for more garden tips and tutorials from my suburban front yard garden where I help you garden like a boss. Blueberry bushes are deciduous, meaning they lose their leaves every fall. In spring, new leaves sprout and tiny powder blue or sometimes pink, bell-shaped blueberry flowers emerge. Depending on the variety, between June and mid-September, these flowers will transform into blueberries, ready to harvest. Blueberries reach their mature, full size around the 8 to 10 year mark and can live as long as 50 years. That's why this was one of the first crops I planted when I first moved in years ago. All blueberries require pollination of their flowers, but some require pollination from different varieties to bear fruit. These types are called cross-pollinating blueberries. The best pollinators are varieties that bloom at the same time. Self-pollinating blueberry bushes, also called self-fertile blueberries, don't need another variety. Single plants can even pollinate themselves, making them incredibly popular with people who have patios or small gardens. That being said, all self-fertile plants will do better if there are other varieties present. Blueberries can be grown in most places in the world. In the US, zones 2 through 10. Make sure you check the variety though. It's difficult to find varieties for the more extreme zones, especially subtropical and tropical climates. Blueberry bushes come in two types, high bush and low bush. The low bush blueberry is a spreading shrub, only 2 to 24 inches high. Maine's famous wild blueberries and also their state fruit are this type. Most of us home gardeners will have the high bush type. These grow 2 to 12 feet high and wide depending on the variety. High bush blueberries are further divided into the northern high bush type for colder climates and the southern high bush type for warmer climates. There are an amazing number of blueberry varieties for almost every climate and every size imaginable.
If you have a favorite, let us all know your climate and variety pick down in the comments.
This year, I'm adding the Sweetheart, Patriot, Chandler, and Darrow varieties to finish off the existing blueberry hedge in my front yard trellis area.
All these varieties I ordered online from Stark Brothers, who I am so proud to have as a sponsor on this video today.
To pick these out, I was able to filter their shop by blueberry flavor, sweet, mild, or tart.
Imagine getting that information out of a big box retailer. Nuts. Because I already have blueberry bushes in my garden, it was even more important for me to get blueberry plants that wouldn't transfer diseases to my existing blueberry hedge. Part of the reason I've been with Stark Brothers for over a decade is because not only do they have a pest and disease-free promise, but they have a 1-year survival guarantee. Not to mention, every time I get a shipment from them, I am astounded by how undisturbed the plants look, especially knowing the full breadth of my UPS person's manhandling abilities. If you are in the market to buy blueberries or any other fruit, nut tree, or edible plant, I highly recommend Stark Brothers.
You can plant blueberry bushes at 2 times of the year, in the fall or in the early spring after your last frost.
While you can do either, I'm a bit partial to fall planting when I can, only because there are so many other things to plant in the spring.
Blueberries do tolerate partial shade, but they'll produce less fruit.
When I first planted these, I took the word tolerate a little bit too far and I planted these here. No joke, the worst area of my entire property gets 100% shade 24 hours a day. Amazingly, they survived, but as you would suspect, they never flowered or fruited.
Like most edibles in the garden, blueberries do best with full sun, meaning a minimum of 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. Luckily, because blueberries have a shallow root system, transplanting them is an easy task. I now have them set up as a hedge along my driveway, creating a low fence in front of my trellis area. Blueberries are happiest in loose, well-drained soil full of organic material. The trellis area in my garden is pretty compacted, but the soil's not terrible. So my solution is the old reliable garden fork and compost combo. To loosen the soil, I fork the area and remove the grass, roots, and rocks. As long as you don't have clay soil, adding sand is another option to loosen soil. After that, I added the compost. Compost is fast, you can make it at home, it has different particle sizes that increase drainage, and it offers nutrition to growing plants. Another option for adding organic matter is mulch, straw, or even growing a cover crop if you have time. If you're planting in a container, potting soil made especially for blueberries or other acid-loving plants is the best type of soil.
Now here is where things are going to get a little complicated because blueberries are soil grumps.
You need acidic soil for blueberries, period. Without acid soil, blueberries won't produce as much fruit, their leaves will discolor, and they will generally not thrive. To test for acid soil, I just upgraded to this digital soil pH meter that I love. It is so easy to use. Liquid soil pH testing kits are also available. Or if you're in the United States, you can get your soil tested by your local university extension. Acidic soil means soil that has a pH of less than 5.5. In fact, blueberries prefer their soil much lower, between 4.0 and 5.5. My blueberry bed was 6.0 to 6.8 according to my liquid test kit. I definitely needed to make it more acid. My favorite ways to acidify soil before planting is by adding sulfur or a soil acidifier. For established plants, you can also use an acid fertilizer, which I'll talk about in a bit.
Check out the description below for links to all my product recommendations.
For my garden, I wanted to create a hedge effect. That meant planting the blueberries super tight, 2 to 2.5 feet apart. I love that this creates a garden room out of my trellis area. And I love that I can also squeeze more plants into the same amount of space. If you're not looking to create a hedge like me, check your variety for specific size and spacing recommendations. As a rule of thumb though, high bush blueberries should be planted 4 to 6 feet apart, low bush 2 to 4 feet apart, and half high blueberries 3 feet apart. If you're planting them in rows, allow 6 to 8 feet between rows. And of course, you can always incorporate a single shrub into an ornamental bed like I've done with my fig and currants. Before planting, make sure your blueberries are watered thoroughly. Another tip, don't plant blueberries too deep. The soil in the nursery pot should line up exactly with your new surrounding soil. Blueberries have shallow roots and can be damaged if they're planted too deep. Once your bushes are in the ground, a good watering will settle the soil and get them off to a great start. You can use a hose, watering can, or create an automatic watering setup like my customized soaker hose irrigation system. Mulching blueberries specifically is important because their roots are close to the surface. Mulch protects them from fertilizer burn and root disturbances. In addition, mulching cuts down on weeding duties, keeps weeds from stealing water and nutrients from your blueberries, preserves soil moisture, and usually looks more attractive. Bonus points if you're holding all that mulch in place with some sharp-looking steel edging like this line from EdgeRite. Good options for mulch are wood chips, leaves, pine needles, or bark. Avoid things that don't allow water through, like plastic or even grass clippings, which can form a thick mat. Apply mulch 4 to 6 inches deep out to the drip line, the outer edge of where the branches canopy the ground. Just don't allow the mulch to touch the main stem since this could cause rotting.
Congratulations, your blueberries are all planted, but there is one more thing left to do.
About 3 to 4 weeks after planting or when the first true leaves reach their full size, it's time to fertilize. Blueberries don't absorb fertilizer the same way as non-acid loving plants. So your best bet is to get a fertilizer that is specifically formulated for blueberries. You can use 1 ounce of a balanced 777 fertilizer per plant, or use 2 ounces of a 436 acid fertilizer. Down to Earth 436 acid fertilizer is my fertilizer pick for all my blueberry, blackberry, and raspberry plantings. Spread the fertilizer in a 15 to 18 inch circle around each plant, scratch it into the surface, and water well.
After this initial application, blueberries have a pretty intense fertilizing schedule, so stay tuned for my next video on blueberry care where I cover harvesting, pest, pruning, fertilizer, and more. As a wrap up, yes, blueberries can absolutely be a little challenging with the initial soil setup, but what a great long-term investment for your garden. You just cannot get any better than 50 years of blueberries.
I hope this video helped you out. Remember to sign up for my email newsletter for more garden resources. And keep gardening like a boss, and I'll see you guys soon.